Yes, I'm finally doing it. I'm finally going to be talking about Isaac from Golden Sun. And I know a lot of people have been questioning. I've gotten comments, numerous comments in these videos, questioning when am I going to do a video on Isaac? Well, here it is. Hello, everybody. My name is Sniping Spawn, and I welcome you all back to the next character we talk about on this series of videos talking about various newcomer ideas for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on the Nintendo Switch. And character number 54 is Isaac from Golden Sun, and for those of you who pretty much don't specifically know, this is Isaac. This is his Dark Dawn design when he's a dad of Mafia and whatnot, and I'm representing him in this video with that design. Whether or not he has the kid design or the father design, or maybe if they make Golden Sun 4 and then they finally change up his design, whatever there, you have no idea, whatever. But I'm representing this because this is his most recent version of himself, the most recent design in the series, so I'm going with that for this video. Sorry for those of you that want to see Kid Isaac as the picture I'm holding right here. Maybe the thumbnail will be both. I don't know. When I finally change thumbnails again, I haven't got a chance to lately. But yes, character number 54 is Isaac, and people have been wanting to question why I haven't had him on this list yet. And here he is. He's character number 54. Yeah, let's just get started. 3 separate categories. Why does the character make sense for Smash Brothers? Moveset ideas and percentage chance I can see him again in. Now, this kind of compares before I get to moveset, even, or even the reason why he makes sense to get in. This kind of fits into what I talked about with Neku last video about like certain characters I need to do a little bit more research on than others. Yes, even Golden Sun. I've played Golden Sun before. I played Dark Dawn in the original. Never got around to Lost Ages. I never really did. I'm sorry, and I never really got super far in a lot of them. But I have played Golden Sun. I know the series. I've been playing the series since it came out on Game Boy Advance. I just never really got super into it. I am a fan, and I want to go back to it, but it was not like Advance Wars. I was more into Advance Wars back then, and especially when Pokemon made the jump to Game Boy Advance and other Game Boy Advance games. But I am a fan of it. I own the original. I own Dark Dawn, and I want to get back into it. But yes, I had to do a little bit of research here. Not as much as Neku Sakuraba in The World Ends With You, because I hardly put a whole lot of time into that game. I have put a decent chunk of time into the Golden Sun games, but I had to do a little bit of research just to kind of grasp a moveset for him. So I'm sorry for those, loyalists of Golden Sun fans out there that could probably make a moveset off the top of their brain. Certain characters I can do that for, and I've done that numerous times in this list where I've done characters where I didn't have to do research. Pop! Moveset comes to my brain. Simon Belmont, Almond Celica, Spyro. No, I didn't do Spyro yet. Spyro is coming. Spoiler. Crash Bandicoot, I meant to say. And various other characters on this list, like Captain Toad and like Shovel Knight Shantae and everything. There's characters I'm more used to and I can talk about, and I can easily do a moveset for them. Some characters I kind of have to do a little bit of research for, and other characters I have to do a whole lot of research for. Now, this isn't Neku Sakuraba levels of I need to do research. But I had to do a little bit of research, so before this gets out of hand, and I've been going about 2 minutes now just talking about this, I'm sorry. Let's get this started. Without further ado, Isaac from Golden Sun. Why does Golden Sun deserve to be represented? Why does Isaac deserve to be in Smash Brothers? It is an iconic series. It is an iconic series that reps the handhelds. They have had 3 games, the original Golden Sun, Dark Dawn, and before that, Lost Ages. Like 3 different games. 2 on the Game Boy Advance, 1 on the DS. It represents the handheld. It's an iconic Camelot handheld Nintendo RPG franchise that, just like I mentioned with The World Ends With You, it has its own cult following. And it is an iconic series that has yet to grasp, Smash Brothers at all, besides the assist trophy of Isaac, which I'm going to put as a reason for why he makes sense to get in, because they've actually represented it as an assist trophy in Brawl. He didn't come back in 4, but they did represent it in Brawl as an assist trophy. So it was important enough of a franchise to get an assist trophy. So why couldn't they get a character? And the series fits Smash. It's the RPG main JRPG hero with the magical abilities and the sword and the spiky hair and everything. So it's like it fits Smash Brothers, and it fits not just as like aesthetic and fighting style, but Isaac also fits because Golden Sun also fits because it is a long running Nintendo franchise that's been around since 2001, I believe, was when the first game came out on the Game Boy Advance. 17 years, 3 games. It's iconic. has a cult following. There's a fan base to it that wants to see him in. And I've mentioned that recency, relevancy, and all that stuff. I take that more into account than popularity and demand. But I do say when popularity and demand actually make sense and actually do fit in, and that they are important. They just aren't important to, in my point of view, compared to relevancy, recency, push from the company and whatnot. But they are important. And Golden Sun is a popular franchise. He is a popular character. Isaac is requested a whole heck of a lot. Why can't he get in? So there you go. That's reasons why I feel it makes sense to get in. And you never know. Golden Sun 4 may finally be around the corner. Maybe they'll put him in because Camelot's going to come out sometime later this year or next year and be like, Golden Sun 4! We give you that cliffhanger to Dark Dawn, which I do know about. Kind of got spoiled on that. Sorry. But yes, those are the reasons why it makes sense. It's an iconic franchise. It's been around 17 years, 3 games, represents the handheld. Isaac was an assist trophy. He's a popular character, popular franchise. 35th Smash Bros. And people want to see him get in. Why haven't we seen him in yet? So there's that. Moveset ideas. Now, I do know some movesets. Like I said, I have put more time into this than, say, The World Ends With You. I do a lot of research for Neku, but I didn't have to do as much research for Isaac. I know he's an adept. He's a Venus adept. He could do earth powers, and he uses a sword. So he does like the earth adept psi energy powers for his attacks, a sword. I get the moveset. I get how he would work. That immediately came to mind. I just had to do a little bit of research on what specific spells later on, what specific psi energy attacks later on would make sense to throw into his moveset. Okay, smash attacks. Yes, he is a sword user. You have to give him his long sword. That is his basic weapon. I know some people hate the use of swords, but you have to give it to him. But he uses other weapons too. He uses axes and he uses maces as well. So I'm going to kind of do a little inkling representation here where he does different weapon attacks. Most of his smash attacks are going to be melee-based long sword. You see the sword right there. He's holding it behind on his holder, behind his jacket. It's a long sword. He swipes his long sword down. He jabs. He swipes left. He swipes right. He does the uppercuts and all the standard sword swings you see from Link or Marth or Ike or Shulk or whatever the heck else, Meta Knight. But some of his melee-based attacks, some of his smash attacks will be instead him pulling out the axe and or him doing the mace and just doing that. So it's going to be like he standardly walks around with a sword. He standardly walks around either with it in his hand or he pulls it out for attacks. You never know. Like how Shulk has it on his back most of the time. Shulk only pulls it off in Smash Bros. 4 when you're attacking. So maybe put the sword there. But sometimes maybe instead of him pulling out the sword and doing like sword type swings, he also he pulls out an axe or he pulls out a mace for certain attacks. Like left A is a mace, up A is an axe, but standard A and all that stuff is basically sword. I don't know. So that's what I want to do, make him at least slightly different. So he's not a straight up sword user. He uses his axes. He uses his maces. We don't have an axe user yet in Smash Brothers. We don't have a mace user yet in Smash Brothers. Throw those in there to make him slightly different, not a full-fledged sword user, and give him his maces and give him his axes. There you go. But he is mainly a sword user, so I can't take that away from him. In his special attacks, I basically just wanted to represent his psi energy powers. Mostly him being a Venus adept and Earth adept, I mostly focus on that. But I did learn that he actually gets to learn a few more other abilities from other adept styles. So I'm going to throw a few of those in there too. But I mostly pulled a lot of them from him being the Venus adept. I mostly pulled a lot of them from his different class, like his class of Squire. There's different classes you can get in the game, like Ninja, Medium, like Knights and stuff like that. But I mostly pulled from Squire because that's his basic class. And I know the one I'm representing here is him years into the future when he's a 40-year-old father that's mastered Venus Adept status to this point of him being almost invincible. But I'm kind of basing his moveset mostly off the moveset you start the game with. And it also kind of represents Matthew in a way too, from his son from Golden Sun Dark Dawn. So it's like it represents both of them. But we see him visually as Dark Dawn, which maybe is one of his alternate costumes. Maybe you can give him his young self. Sorry. So I mostly went from his Squire class, but there's different classes you can get. And I threw a few extra ones here and there. And I mostly went from him as Earth Adept, a Venus Adept. So he basically does various psi energy attacks. He does Quake, which is like an earthquake type thing. He does Gaia, which is like ground shaking earth eruption type stuff. He does Ragnarok, which is an explosive energy sword, so his sword will be able to shoot. So one of his special attacks is him using his sword, charging up with energy and attacking like a beam sword type of thing. And he basically does like rock fall, rock slide, avalanche, various rock-based stuff. That is mostly what he is, so I wanted to represent that in his moveset. But he also does, according to what this, he does fire attacks. He does like a fire bomb. He does froth, which is like an ice attack. He does bolt, which obviously stands like for a lightning thunder based attack. So I wanted to throw a few of those in there, so it's like he's a little bit diverse, but due to the fact that that's not what his main fighting style is, it's minor, it's minimal, and I didn't want to focus too much on that. He does more of the rock stuff, more of the earth stuff, more, Venus adept. So he does the rock slides, the avalanches, the rock falls. He does Quake. He does Gaia. He does a Ragnarok energy sword. There you go. And I'd say that would be his Psi energy attacks for his specials. So before I get on to what his final smash is, smash attack is mostly him swinging a sword around. But he does a few mace attacks and a few axe attacks because he does use other weapons than just swords. His Psi energy abilities, being an adept, Psi energy is basically, where I go for his special attacks. They'd be more range based, or at least semi-medium close range, somewhat up close, of his Squire abilities for the most part, but some other classes in there too. I throw a little bit of ninja stuff and medium stuff and knight stuff in there. So I basically represent Quake, Gaia, the Ragnarok energy sword, rock slide, rock fall, avalanche, and some fire bombs, bolt, and froth. There you go. Final smash. Now, if you've played the Golden Sun games, you know there are certain things you can summon called Jinn. I wanted to pick one of those, so I represent that someone in his moveset. Which Jinn do you pick? That represents specifically him. Since he is a Venus adept, the basic choice would be Venus, which is just basically giant falling rocks from the sky. And it's like his most basic first, Jinn he gets. And the first Jinn even Matthew gets, I believe. And it's the most basic, iconic one, but it's also one of his most boring, and I'm sorry. You don't really even see like a Jinn on the screen. It comes from off screen, like falling rocks and whatnot. I picked Judgment, which is this giant flying knight that just flies above the battlefield and charges up a shot with his like arm lion cannon thing, and energy beam goes, hits the stage. I'm sorry. I wanted to go for more of a cooler one for him. So I didn't go for Venus. I didn't go for any of his other designs, or his other Jinn, or any other Matthew Jinn, or any of, Garrett or Mia or anyone else's Jinn, because it makes no sense to represent them for him. I gave him Judgment, which is like his strongest Jinn. And given that I'm representing older adult, Isaac, father, more trained adept, he should use his most powerful Jinn. He summons it to the screen. Maybe you have to catch some finisher like a Shulk, Mega Man type thing. Or maybe he just, when you summon the final smash, maybe Judgment just flies up to the top of the stage, drops it down, and it gives a chance for the players to walk away, move out of the way. Or maybe it's cutscene based. I don't care. It could be cutscene based and you have to catch them in it and they just get blown off the stage. Or maybe he just summons Judgment to fly above the stage and it's like something that at least allows the players to dodge and move out of the way. But he drops the giant beam, he charges it up, drops this big giant energy beam down on the stage, hits it, explosion, whoever gets hit by it, blows off the stage. Whether it's cutscene or it's, it's just a standard final smash. I don't know. But that's basically it. That's his moveset. Percentage chance I could see this Isaac getting in. Yeah, I've been hyping him up so much and talking about why he deserves to be in, but this is another situation. I've done this for numerous characters in the game. I talk about why they make sense, and I hype them up so much. Ridley, Waluigi, all these other characters I've talked about in my list, and then I have to, Rock Howard. Some of these characters I've talked about, and I hyped them up so much it seems like, oh, he's going to give him a higher percent chance. No. I still feel Golden Sun deserves to be in Smash Bros. I still feel it deserves to, Isaac or Matthew or someone deserves to represent the series, even Felix. But what is hurting, Golden Sun getting a representation at all is the fact that it's been almost 10 years since the last time we got a Golden Sun game. And people may be like, oh, but that doesn't affect anything. It really does. The fact that we haven't had a Golden Sun game in so long, and the fact that the series is very relevant right now, hurts Golden Sun's chances. It hurts any franchise's chances. The fact that Golden Sun, or any franchise in this matter, you can replace Golden Sun with Advanced Wars, or Sin and Punishment, or Elite Beat Agents, or Custom Robo, or whatever. The fact that these franchises haven't got games in a long time does impact their chances to get into Smash Bros. Unless Sakurai knows that Nintendo's bringing a new game out. We haven't heard anything from Camelot, anything from Nintendo about Golden Sun 4 or Golden Sun Remake or anything Golden Sun oriented besides them throwing games on Wii Virtual Consoles, Wii U Virtual Consoles, eShops and whatnot. That's all they're doing. They're just riding on just putting them as downloadable games. We haven't heard anything about a new Golden Sun game forever. And the last one was Dark Dawn, which was a 2010 DS game 8 years ago. And it does hurt his chances. I'm giving him a 50% chance. And that 50% chance is riding on him being popular, him being requested, which I already stated doesn't determine, I think, a character getting in. I feel relevancy, recency, push from the company is a lot more important than a character just being popular and demanded for, because every character is popular. There's a lot of characters that are demanded for. How do you Sakurai pick from just characters popular? Because he looks at, oh, that character's popular, and then there's a list of 1 million characters that are also popular. I think, but like I said, his popularity is helping him give that 50% chance and the possibility of us eventually getting the Golden Sun 4, because it's going to have to happen one day. They ended Dark Dawn on a freaking cliffhanger. It has to happen. And when that finally does happen, we'll see a Golden Sun character get in, which may be Smash Bros. Ultimate. Maybe Sakurai knows they're going to announce Golden Sun 4 eventually at a future direct. I don't know. That's why I'm giving him a 50% chance. It's been a long time since we've seen a game that severely hurts his chances, but there's the possibility a new game will come around, or his popularity could help him get in, which would then lead to Nintendo wanting to make a freaking Golden Sun 4 and Camelot getting on board again. I don't know. And that's it for, Isaac from Golden Sun. I finally did it. For all of you out there that commented on it, I finally did it. There you go. So put in the comment section what you guys think. Do you guys agree? Does Isaac or someone from Golden Sun, like Felix or even Matthew, deserve to get in? Does, my reasonings make sense? What about your reasons? What about my moveset ideas? Would you change stuff up? What moveset idea would you give them? Is 50% chance too high, too low? Discuss it down below and we can have fun there. And next time, I'm going to return to a certain franchise for character number 55 when I go back to the world of Fire Emblem. But before I get on to talking about, now I can finally talk about Fire Emblem 3 Houses characters, and they are coming, all 4 of them so far. After I did the Fire Emblem 16 thing back on character number 3, 4, 5, 6 kind of range. 8 it was actually, I think. I'm going to be talking about a character that's been around in the series since the beginning, and is technically its mascot, and that is Anna. See you all later. Bye.